There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome. What happened there? I clapped
and the microphone smacked me in the throat.
Oh no, it's not a good start. It's Friday. You know, anything could happen, let's be honest. Hello and welcome to Mamamia Out Loud. It's what women are actually talking about on Friday, the 1st of March. It's not summer anymore, friends. 1st of March.
Oh,
it's officially autumn.
I know, that makes me so sad.
We're about to find out why that's Mia's favourite season. Anyway, I'm Holly Wainwright.
I'm Leah Freedman.
And I'm Jessie Stevens.
And on the show today, the girl influencers managed by mums and stalked by men. Also, Jennifer Aniston just said the quiet part out loud, and an emotional travel disaster, a sequin allergy, and a very cup-filling catch-up with an old friend. We wrap up our best and worst of the week. But first, Jessie Stevens.
In case you missed it, we got a rebrand.
We did.
We've been rebranded. We did a special episode for subscribers all about our new logo. Some thought we were trying to outsource the creation of our logo to Outlouders.
Outlouders, there was one very cranky comment in the Outlouders group saying, I cannot believe you are asking your listeners to donate their services for free in giving you a marketing makeover. And we're like, dude,
I promise we have marketing people, but we wanted to know your opinions.
We love your opinions. You're always right. We're just inviting you into our little meeting. And we have been discussing a new logo for honestly like 6 months. Because Mia gets a haircut.
Some aborted shoots.
Yes, every 6 months you're like, I have a haircut, we need a new logo. And we did discuss in that subscriber episode the time you made me do a photo shoot at 38 weeks pregnant.
That's true.
That was one of our aborted
And we do these photo shoots and then we're like, hate it. All wrong.
But this one is cool.
Yeah, and look, if you haven't noticed yet, just hold your phone out from myself and have a look at our amazing new logo.
I hope you didn't scroll past us because you might have.
Yeah,
we've got new colours. We've got new. Do we have new fonts? We've just all new.
New fonts and the most important ones in the middle. And that's been a problem for a while.
So we're Outlouders. When we saw this new logo, Jessie just went, I love it. I think it's because I'm in the middle.
I'm trying not to take it personally. It's fine.
But then I think we realised that the person creating it might have thought I was Holly and we're just going with it.
I don't think so.
I have another fun in case you missed it, which is actually related. And it is all about colour analysis. In case you missed it, if you've ever wondered why certain colours look absolutely terrible on you, it can all be explained by your colour season.
Dressing to your season complements your natural features and you can curate your wardrobe with colours that actually flatter you. Your season is determined by 2 factors: the undertone of your skin, hair and eyes, and the lightness or darkness of your overall colouring.
Now, to do with the logo, right, I used to say, I think there's too much blue. And I think it's because, Holly, that particular shade of blue, not flattering on us.
No.
We're springs.
Even though I think I like blue very much.
There are particular tones that are nice on us. If you are wondering what I am talking about, this has been a trend on TikTok for a while, but then for the last 4 weeks, I've fallen deep into a hole that I've only just emerged from.
I love that this has been a trend on TikTok because when I was in a meeting we have another podcast called Nothing to Wear that's our fashion podcast, and one of the ideas that was pitched for an episode was let's do something on colour analysis. And I'm like, are you kidding? That was over in the 80s. Come on, that's ridiculous.
Remember we all used to say, I'm getting my colours done?
Yeah, I didn't realise it had come back again.
It's come back. And there are filters, like you can put a thing on your face and work out what colours look good. And then there's all these questions about what looks good, gold or silver. I don't know, but it's called seasonal colour analysis. And all of us apparently fall into one season: autumn, winter, spring, summer.
Well done, Jessie. You know the 4 seasons. Just remind me what they are again. Jesus.
Autumn and then there's
okay.
spring.
So what are you and how do you tell?
Okay. So first it's like, does silver or gold look good on you? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And then it's like, is there a colour that looks great on? I don't know. That's why I'm here, because some things look bad on me and I don't know why. Well, actually, Mia, I'm going to start with you because I've done your colours.
Oh.
You're an autumn.
Yeah.
You are an autumn?
I thought, because I did my colours a few days ago too, because I was like, the big problem with colours is that the colours that you like may not be the colours that
look good
suit
on you.
Yeah. So a colour that was in fashion for a while is that dusty pink, and I bought a bit of it and then I realised, it kills me. It like just completely washes everything out of my face.
Here. You're not to wear a dusty pink.
But I thought dusty pink is one of the colours that does suit an autumn.
You've come up with the wrong autumn. You are a dark autumn. You're a dark autumn. Now, Mia, because this is not a visual medium, Mia.
Hello.
You have brown hair.
I do.
You've got brown eyes.
I've got blonde hair.
Well, it's not natural.
Oh, sorry, so it's about your natural colour?
Yes. And then
Very
you've
brown.
got quite tanned skin.
Yeah.
Right? Like quite olive skin.
Olive and black eyes pretty much.
Yes. So you are a Julia Roberts. You're a Meghan Markle.
Julia Roberts.
You're a Jessica Mauboy. And it's to do with the tone. It's not that you're all exactly the same colour.
Okay.
You've got some
I've got very yellow in my skin.
You're warm. What suits you, Mia? Well, I'm here for some style advice for you.
Tell me.
Deep, earthy, rich and intense colours.
Yeah.
Okay, so like a deep.
I'm wearing bright red today.
Red works.
Yeah.
It works. It's allowed.
What
It's looking
doesn't
good.
suit me?
Okay, dusty pink, dusty blue,
Yes.
white. You're not to wear white.
Oh my God, it's funny you say
true.
that because I noticed in the videos, the last few videos that we've been making, I've been wearing white shirts because part of my new pivot to minimalism, I've been wearing a lot of white shirts. Don't look amazing on me.
Apparently black is quite nice on you though.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I've gravitated back. Oh, it's all making sense.
Holly, would you like me to do your
I
colours?
definitely
Okay.
would.
Well, we're the same. I think we're the same.
It's because we're both Sagittarians.
Got blue eyes and
Exactly.
blonde hair.
So we are light spring. Now, a light spring means that there is very low contrast between skin, hair and eyes. Okay,
That
so
doesn't sound good.
you're probably,
You're washed out.
we're washed out. You've got blue eyes, blonde hair, light skin.
You're like a thumb with a face drawn on it.
Yes. Thumb, that's exactly it.
I can't. Mia, that's so mean.
Holly, dark colours aren't for us.
Oh.
I'm horrified.
No black.
No black.
But I've been wearing black forever.
No, you're not allowed to wear black.
Interesting.
Okay.
There's a particular blue that's really, really nice. It's a warm blue.
A really strong blue looks all right
yeah,
on me.
Yeah, exactly right. Warm and light, but some nice sort of pastellies. Anything dark, like a brown or a grey kind of, I'm wearing brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
it's not good on you today.
It's not. It doesn't bring out my
I
warmth.
like it.
No, it doesn't.
No, I need to go shopping. That's what you'll do, your colours.
Yeah.
You need to go shopping.
Or we can just swap some clothes.
Oh
I think that's what you do.
God.
Get your colours done out louders and then just find a friend and just swap stuff out of your wardrobe that's not your right
So
colours.
I'm obsessed. I want to know what everyone's colours are. I've got here a true summer because I haven't touched on summer. That's an Emily Blunt, Olivia Wilde. And if you're a true winter, then you're Jamila Jamil or Anne Hathaway. Honestly, my life has changed and now I'm going to be hot now that I know how to dress.
With this workout method, I'm stronger than I've ever felt before. I sweat. I sculpt. I bend. But I don't break. How liberating. Pvolve, a strength that sets you free.
Finally, we know what it takes for Jennifer Aniston to have a body that seems to defy both gravity and time. Jennifer Aniston is 55. You may not know that. She is perennially, well, she looks like she's about 25, maybe 32. Maybe 32 she looks. And this week she's been out and about promoting a new type of exercise called Pvolve, which sounds to me
Is it rude?
like either a sex toy or something to do with incontinence.
Yeah, when you said Pvolve, I thought it's pelvic floor related.
Yes,
It's to do
'cause
with
it
not
sounds
weeing
like
yourself.
vulva and pee. It's
Yeah.
actually neither of those things. It is.
Although,
Revolving on a P.
or Pvolve, I would imagine, is quite good for the pelvic floor.
Yeah, I imagine.
Well, it may be. It's a type of exercise, a new type of exercise with resistance bands and some funny contraptions that you put between your legs. And it's low impact and it is a kind of bespoke signature thing invented by...
Did she make it up?
No, but someone else did who was recovering from an injury.
Right.
In the same way that Joseph Pilates invented Pilates when he was
Never knew
recovering
that.
from
Didn't
an injury.
know Pilates was a person.
That's Joseph Pilates. He says you're only as young as your spine.
Oh, what? Gosh, how have I lived this long?
Well, Jennifer loved it so much that she became a partner in Pvolve midway through last year. And like pretty much everybody else, when I read about this, the first thing I did was Google Pvolve. I got to the website, some very lovely photos of Jennifer Aniston, which
Yeah,
we'll
she
get to in a minute.
freaking
But
great.
you can buy either the signature pack, which gives you 3 pieces of equipment and 1 month of streaming for $199.99. That's American dollars. Or you could buy the total transformation. And of course, who wouldn't do that? That'll set you back $625, and it's 13 pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
And 12 months of streaming.
It's the ankle weights. It's the pulley thing.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that gets delivered to your house and never gets out of the box.
I've actually got stuff.
So to promote this, Jen Ann posted a video of herself this week on Instagram doing a workout. And in it, she sort of falls to the floor mid-push-up and says, oh, God, you know those days where you just don't want to do it? You just got to do it. If you're having one of those Mondays, I feel you. Just got to do it. What I find so interesting about this, because she also has been, she's also been giving some interviews and saying how she used to just really hammer herself. And she said, it was like run, boxing. I really just pounded my body. I used to torture myself. I'd get up so early in the morning so I could get that hour of a workout in, and I would just be burnt out by the end of the day. And your body just doesn't need to work that hard. And she said, if I didn't get that full, good, solid hour of sweating, I'd feel that I'd failed myself. And her point is that she wishes she'd known 20 years ago that there were other ways to exercise. And yet, in this Pvolve, she shows herself doing this workout and collapsing on the floor. What I find interesting about this is that she's said the quiet part out loud. So there's kind of been this understanding over the last, 10 to 20 years around body positivity. You're not meant to exercise to lose weight. You're meant to exercise to feel good and be healthy.
Even telling me what I'm meant to be doing.
I reckon.
No, but you're not meant to say that you're exercising to lose weight, right? She said in another interview that exercising 3 hours a day and it's like, so what it takes to be as thin as you are at your age is not necessarily the right thing for your body. And I would say that for a lot of actresses in Hollywood, when you're looking at all the red carpets that we have been, all I've been able to think is that isn't it interesting that all of these actresses, pretty much 97, 98% of them are one size, and that is pretty much size 0.
I reckon the change in how we discuss exercise and why we do it, I don't think that's been 10 or 20 years. I reckon that's been 2 to 5 years. Same. I remember not that long ago, it was every fitness app had before and after pictures.
You're right.
Every single one was about a bikini challenge, and it was totally about how you looked. And on the Pvolve website, it says looking good and feeling great is why you do it. And I bristled because I went, looking good, interesting. And I thought, maybe it's just the gyms I've been going to. And I went to KX Pilates, which is what I did, Fitness First, Fernwood, F45. I went to every website, and not in one fine print could I see any reference to how you looked, which I thought was a real shift that I almost hadn't noticed. And you're right about saying the quiet part out loud, because the imagery is telling us one thing, which is that the imagery about fitness clubs are often of a very particular straight-sized body. Not only now do you have to exercise, but you have to exercise for the right reasons. And you have to have a healthy relationship with exercise.
Stop policing me and why I'm doing my exercise. It's like you're not allowed to do it for your body fitness. You've got to do it for your mental fitness. You're not allowed to do it to look a certain way. You've got to do it to feel a certain way and blah, blah. Jennifer Aniston is just being Jennifer Aniston, right? She's 55, as you say, Mia. She has been famous for nearly 30 years. She very famously only got her job in Friends after her agent told her she was not getting jobs in Hollywood because she was too chubby. This is a time when actresses used to tell the truth in interviews and say, my agent told me I was too fat and put me on the Zone diet, and I only ate a salad for lunch, the same one, it's famous. I could tell you exactly what it was, for 10 years, and she changed herself into a different person and became massively famous. Ever since then, she has been one of the most observed and policed women in the world about her appearance, right? She gets papped incessantly. Everybody's obsessed with whether or not her insides work. Why hasn't she had a baby yet? You know, who's she marrying? Who's she divorcing? What's she eating? What she isn't? And yet we're upset with her because she's telling the truth.
Oh, no, not upset with her. Don't get me wrong.
Regime.
Don't get me wrong. I actually appreciate it. It's this weird throwback because it's like she sort of didn't get the memo that you're meant to pretend. That's what I'm saying about this idea that everyone's a conspirator in. So not only have we got to live by these beauty standards, but we've got to pretend that we don't care about them. And all the marketing for this Pvolve is Jennifer Aniston ripped, airbrushed to shit, and in these like fashion poses that basically they are selling a diet to women.
But you know
they're
what?
selling her body to women.
But the thing that I find most attractive.
That's the part I don't like.
The thing I find most attractive about this whole campaign, and I've been looking at it on her Instagram for a while, is not those still airbrushed images. It's the way she moves. One of the things I think as you get older that you're very aware of, because of all of our internalized ageism, I'm not pretending it's anything else. It's like, I know that I look like a 52-year-old woman, but I don't want to feel like one. I don't want to move like one. I don't want to get up out of my chair like, oh, I don't want to, I want to still be as active as I am. Watching her doing these exercises is incredibly seductive. I would buy it, I'm not going to buy it, obviously. I'm not insane because I would never get it out of the box. But if I was to fall for it, it actually wouldn't be the airbrushed images. It would be she still moves like she is 30 and I want to do that.
But she said, I've broken my body.
But I know a million people, myself included, I'll go, I'm exercising today and I do not feel like it. But I've got to, because I've got to, and I will feel better afterwards. And afterwards I might be exhausted, but I know I'll feel great. Endorphins, all that stuff. She's just telling the truth.
Yeah, and even the type of exercise, she's really pioneering something here, because for women and for women of that age group, that type of exercise is actually perfect. I remember doing a story years ago about, it's the beginning of the year. If you're going to start one type of exercise, what do you do? Because that can be the thing too. It's like, am I doing a 5:45? Am I on a treadmill? Am I a marathon? What do I do? And all the experts came back to me and said body weight training, like this kind of stuff that she's doing. And the functional exercise is very on trend. The how to move your body in a way that helps you get out of bed and walk up and down stairs and
But
all
that's
that kind
not
of stuff.
what's being sold. And that's why, you've got these two impossibly thin, ripped, perfect airbrushed women on all the marketing. It just felt very regressive. Even when you look at Skims, for example, if you go onto the Skims website, Kim Kardashian's underwear brand, you've got women of all shapes and sizes. You go on to, we were very conscious when we made Move, our fitness app, that you want to have women of all different shapes and sizes. And I'm obviously across this space, particularly over the last few years, because as we've been developing our Move app, which is not related to this segment, I've been looking at a lot of things as we've decided what we do and don't want it to be. And we took so much care in avoiding this kind of messaging. This is actually why we created it. And I just look at that and I know Jennifer Aniston is Jennifer Anistoning in the same way that J-Lo does. But to me, it felt, I hate the word tone deaf, because why shouldn't she? But it was more like you are perpetuating the body standard that has broken your body and that has caused you clearly so much.
But I don't think that's what she's
exhaustion.
saying. I think she's saying I used to think that that's what I had to do because that's what everybody thought they had to do. Spin class, boxing, 2 hours of cardio, to be the skinny. Like, remember, she was on Friends in the lollipop era when everybody had to be less than a size 0 and their head had to look like it was too heavy to hold up. And she and Courtney Cox, I nearly said Kardashian, Courtney Cox and Lisa Kudrow were all that, right? I think what she's trying to say is now I've learned I don't have to kill myself to do it. Good on her.
It's a reminder, though, that...
But she does have to kill herself. So I was reading some reviews. Sorry to interrupt you, Jessie, but I was reading some reviews from people saying, oh my God, this isn't like reach for the stars and bend a little bit to the right and then take some deep breaths. This is a full-on hardcore workout just because you're not
like
sprinting
Tracy
up
Anderson.
a mountain. Exactly. There's no way of getting around the fact that it's really, really, really hard. And even Jennifer Aniston herself shows herself collapsing on the floor going, I just don't want to do it. This is torture. I hate this. Do it anyway.
I find that honestly refreshing, because even with Miley Cyrus at the Grammys, right? She had her Flowers performance and then Google searches for Pilates skyrocketed because everyone was like, they're Pilates arms, I need to do Pilates because look at her body, right? And the same thing happens with Jennifer Aniston. What this reminds us is that Jennifer Aniston and Miley Cyrus do not do Pilates twice a week. They are
twice a day.
literal athletes. I looked at what Jennifer Aniston was doing even in that thing and I was like, oh, you're an athlete in terms of how
They also have
fit you are.
armies of trainers and personal chefs.
And you have a gym at home, of course.
So therefore I'm going, and I was seduced into it as well. I was almost like, maybe I should buy this Pvolve thing and maybe wonder what those 13 pieces of equipment would be, and doing the maths on that, because I look at Jennifer Aniston's arms and I look at her body and it's just like, I just feel
I
that's
prefer
shitty.
that than
I think
someone
that's shitty.
than Jennifer Aniston standing there and going, I do 5 push-ups and a deep breath and I look like this. I would prefer her be honest about how much exercise she's got to do to look like that.
And I should just say also, the images that are on this website of her body looking unbelievably ripped, her face has had so much airbrushing that she looks like she's about 15 or 16 years old. So I just resent, yes, she's making the money, but she's making the money by selling women up the river and making us feel like shit.
I think you've got a lot of contempt towards Jen, and I like Jen, and I think you're being mean to Jen.
Choice if you feel like shit when you look at that.
Yeah,
Mia
no,
Freedman.
she can choose to confirm and endorse those beauty standards, or she can use her power to not make us.
I think you should
feel
do
like
a
shit.
Pvolve workout and you'll feel a bit better.
Volve my pee.
Volve your pee, Mia Freedman.
With this, Mamamia out loud. I'm stronger than I've ever felt before.
For these new moms pimping their daughters out, literally just refresh your Instagram Explore page. There's fresh preteens. As long as this stuff legally exists, I just enjoy it. These are all messages posted by men on Telegram groups dedicated to obsessing over images of child influencers posted on Instagram by the parents who manage them.
That's the beginning of a social video that I was sent several times on Instagram this week. It's promotion for an incredibly confronting piece of storytelling from the New York Times called A Marketplace of Girl Influencers Managed by Moms and Stalked by Men. Now, if that sounds like a story you really need to skip, then please do. But here's what the piece explored. Influencer has become one of the most aspirational jobs in the world, and there are influencers for all kinds of things, right? Including, of course, kids' clothes and beauty products, dancing, cheerleaders and gymnasts. And a lot of those accounts feature pictures of gorgeous young children of all kinds of ages. And although you need to be 13 to have an Instagram account, many of these accounts are opened and run and managed by the parents, usually the mums, of the girls who feature in them. Maybe they are hoping to build a following for their dance career. Maybe they're selling swimwear to other young girls and they're being paid by brands to model them. But either way, what the Times investigation exposed without question is that a lot of this content is being consumed and shared and engaged with by men, pedophiles. They're leaving comments like the ones you heard in that video at the top of this segment. They're sharing and messaging and in some cases paying for subscriber content of these young girls. And almost all the parent influencer managers, in inverted commas, because some of them are professional managers and some of them are just ordinary parents, interviewed for this story said that it was unbelievably common, that the number of men commenting on these images was almost impossible to imagine. The parents themselves had some quite different responses in this piece. Some said that all they did all day was block accounts morning and night, and they said that complaining and reporting to Meta almost never got a response. And a few said that this is just what came with the territory and that these interactions actually boosted engagement. For example, one parent said, with the wisdom and knowledge I have now, if I could go back, I definitely wouldn't do it. I've been stupidly, naively feeding a pack of monsters and the regret is huge. But another commented, I don't have as much of an emotional response to it anymore. She's talking about the comments from the pedophiles. It's weird to be so numb to it, but the quantity is just astounding. Mia, what was your takeaway from this really disturbing story?
Horror and despair.
Who were you angry with?
She didn't say anger, did she, Jessie?
No, you didn't. But I was really curious as to what people took away, and I was reading the comments, and it was interesting to see who people directed that despair and often fury towards.
Sometimes it just feels with social media that we're trapped in this hellscape that none of us can get out of. The genie's out of the bottle. It's too late. We're in this twilight zone where parents are pimping out their children. You know, a lot of the parents said it's really hard to walk away from this money. The more followers you have, the more you can charge for brands. And even though ostensibly they might want to engage with swimwear to sell to other young girls, if you blocked and deleted every male follower, you know, you can't make as much money. So it's literally these children are being pimped out. But then the parents are like, well, this is paying for her college or this is going to be whatever. And then some of them were saying, I wish I hadn't have done it. And now my daughter thinks that the only career opportunity for her is to start an OnlyFans account and be posting really sexually suggestive images. Now, let's be clear about what kind of images they're talking about. They're not talking about a little girl in a fancy dress costume these are girls often in leotards, in swimwear, in robes, in bikinis.
To be clear, the New York Times, their criteria for the investigation was form-fitting clothes.
And they used an algorithm to rate these images according to racy or non-racy. So we know the difference. Some of these have like gymnasts with their doing standing splits, or little girls like reclining on a lounger, looking over their dark glasses with lipstick on and a bikini. And these are girls as young as 9, 5. It makes me so horrified that this platform has been built that allows pedophilia to happen in plain sight, not just in plain sight, but with the active participation and coercion of the parents.
So it's difficult to read this and not feel some
disgust with the parents.
Yeah, to varying degrees. There are some where you can almost understand and there are others where you can't. But
which ones can you almost understand?
Look, I understand. I think that putting it all in the same bucket is actually not fair. So if you're someone whose teenage girl has an Instagram account that you manage, I don't think that's the same as having someone who's in bikinis constantly and has a subscriber offering where you show more bikini shots if you give me $100. Like, that's not comparable. But there was one line in it where a woman said, my daughter's going to school and she's being bullied because they keep saying your followers are pedophiles. And she took her child out of school. And I thought, what if we took the child off the internet? We would sooner take the child out of school than we would the internet. But I'm really conflicted because who does the internet belong to? If the internet belongs to creepy men, then do we all retreat?
Yeah, exactly.
If it belongs to pedophiles, if we're going to give them this much power, like as in, if you take this to its logical conclusion, any of us who ever upload a picture of our child, no matter what they're wearing, a pedophile could find it sexually titillating, in which case, okay, so we're handing the internet over to pedophiles.
No,
that's
you can't
extreme.
control what people are thinking when they're looking at your imagery.
Yeah, but if you put up photos of your child, those comments come in, those people become your followers, you then have a choice to make. Do I then put up another picture of her that's similar? Do I then put up another picture? Do I maybe take the account private? Yeah. Of course you can't control it, but once you're aware of it, it's different.
I agree, but I also think, as Jessie does, that this story was really interesting because it goes from what clearly looks like deeply criminal behaviour, selling pictures of your child to paedophiles.
Yeah, there's some of this that genuinely looks criminal.
Yeah, it definitely looks criminal. To stuff that I agree with Jessie, why should we curate the internet with the worst people in the world in mind? And my argument, I guess, is that in some of these cases, as you've said, Mia, some of it, the imagery is provocative and deliberately leaning into that. But just saying that any girl in form-fitting clothes is provoking paedophilia
is not
okay.
Saying. This is looking at accounts that are leaning in. This is not just, someone posted a vile comment on the picture of my daughter in her confirmation dress or in her swimsuit on her birthday. It's not that. These are looking at accounts that trade in that kind of imagery.
Because some of these parents were saying, because it's not just parents, it's brands, right? So if I'm a brand and I sell swimwear to teens and to tweens, and I use tween and teen models, so some of these brands were saying that they also have to police their followings, right? Meta aren't going to do it. They block and report people and nothing happens. So do we just say no pictures of people under the age of 18 on the internet because paedophiles might find them? Or do we say, I can't control what those men are doing?
What you can control is the images that you put out of your child.
What it reminded me, though, is that images on the internet
and whether you profit from them. I think that's another thing.
But a lot of them weren't.
Is the profiting.
A lot of the women, a lot of the families weren't even profiting.
No.
So this is the thing that it reminded me, is that social media, no matter what platform you're using, is without context. And that's why the New York Times decided not to publish any of the photos of the girls, because you can take an image from
they just
somewhere.
Described them.
Yeah, like I've got mates who I went to school with or whatever, and they might post a picture on the weekend and I know this isn't the same, but of their little girl at a dance concert, maybe she's got a leotard
100%.
on. And I do
Beauty
have no
pageants for
judgment.
kids.
Guys, this is not what this is. That's not what this investigation was.
Yes, but okay, for example, it might be someone whose little girl wants to be a cheerleader. So I'm thinking about the show Cheer that we all watched. And a few of those were actually, the way they got onto that show was that they had platforms.
Massive followings.
And they were doing the most incredible things with their bodies. What do gymnasts wear? Gymnasts wear leotards. They have to wear leotards. They can't wear full-on hazmat suits. Wouldn't work. So that's what they wear. They have these legions of fans that are little girls going, oh, wow, this gymnastics thing is really exciting. If a portion of that audience are there for the wrong reasons, is it a little bit like, I kept thinking of the slut walk thing and how after women have been attacked on the street, women kind of go, well, we're not going to hide when the sun goes down. We're going to walk and we're going to be present in this space as well. I know it's not a perfect analogy, but I just wonder if that's what we do.
Because I think you can't read this article and not be absolutely horrified. You're so right, Mia, because it's a side of the internet that you like to pretend isn't there, right? And so when you're confronted with the comments from these men and some of the behavior of these parents, you are not wrong. It's abhorrent. Yeah. My conflict, of course, is not in any way like, well, maybe it's fine to have paedophiles look at it. It's not that in any way. My conflict is about the idea that Instagram is a very broad place where we're being sold all kinds of things. And if we're deciding that all imagery of children is bait, and so we've got to erase it, that's not where I want to be.
No, it's about sexualized images of children and imagery that's being put out there that's knowingly sexualized.
It says something about our algorithms too, because I'm not sure about either of you two, but when they were describing these images, I was like, I've never been served one.
Never.
Funny that.
Instagram knows
Of course.
that's not my algorithm. And so I couldn't even imagine what they meant, that there are these accounts. And they're clearly being served to people who follow this kind of content.
Well, but also they would also be being served to people who are trying to buy bikinis for little girls and all this. This is why because that's what they're saying about an actual genuine influencer following for some of these people. The kids are making money from modelling clothes and swimwear, and it's such a
it's a lot of money for these parents and these families that might not otherwise have ways of making large amounts of money or incidental income. They say it's really hard. What am I going to do? Just close the account?
Say no to $10,000?
It's like, and it's easy for us to say, yes, you should say no to $10,000. But I can also see, and that's why this is the horror and the despair, that it's easy for us to go, yes, turn them off. And as you say, you can't ban people putting pictures up of their kids. But I despair of the technology that has facilitated the pimping out and exploitation of children.
And also I despair at the idea that these accounts sitting there with all these comments and you can report them and nothing happens. So Meta knows they're all there.
Mm-hmm. But heaven forbid you show a picture of a woman breastfeeding.
Mamamia out loud.
Want unlimited Out Loud access? We drop episodes every Tuesday and Thursday exclusively for Mamamia subscribers. Follow the link in the show notes to get us in your ears 5 days a week. And a huge thank you to all our current subscribers. It's Friday, which means it's time for our best and worst of the week. Mia, you're going first. What was your worst of the week?
Why would you say that when I'm drinking a big glass of water?
Because it's annoying when you drink water.
You're trolling me.
People don't know this, but Mia drinks water too loudly, too furiously, and all in one go, and it's disgusting. Like it's like ASMR, but yuck.
I find
sound
it
like
endearing.
I'm drowning, I know.
It's
I know, I do. I often feel like I'm drowning. Okay, I'm going with the themes. Last week I did food, best and worst. This week I'm doing a fashion, best and worst.
Is it when I did your colours?
No, I love that actually.
Okay, cool.
Now I've got to burp because I had too much water too fast.
No.
She's so unprofessional.
I'm so sorry out loud. Okay, so my worst is that my body is rejecting sequins in quite a physical way.
This is quite the development.
I recently recorded an episode of Nothing to Wear about my fashion pivot. Both Lee Campbell and I, she's the host of Nothing to Wear, have had a fashion pivot. She's pivoted from like bodycon tight dresses to very man-style androgynous. And I've pivoted from looks like a rainbow unicorn fairy has vomited on me, to also a bit more man style and androgynous and kind of neutral. Anyway, so sequins are a bit dead to me, but at Taylor, I had to wear sequins. I had to revisit my sequins. And I was so uncomfortable in my sequins that I actually had to quickly run mid-show and buy a T-shirt.
What's happened? What's happened, do you
It
think?
cost $65.
Is this
$65 for a T-shirt?
Is this a physical or emotional pain that
I don't
you're
know.
in?
I don't
Well,
know.
you're itchy
It's not
and a bit
pat- It was
red.
actually physically uncomfortable. I also just didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel good. I
She
felt
used to-
uncomfortable. I was itchy. Funnily enough, your sister then needed something to wear to Taylor, and she borrowed that same top. She loved it, I think.
She thought,
but
I know,
so my
I know
body's
just the woman.
rejecting sequins. I think it's very
It's
interesting.
not who you are
It's
anymore.
not who I am anymore.
What's your best?
Got a lot of spare sequins if anyone needs them. My best is that I set myself a little challenge at the beginning of this year, fashion challenge, to not wear sneakers to work.
Okay, why?
Because I haven't worn anything other than sneakers to work for about 2 or 3 years.
And you're a what do you call them? Your Adidas
Sambas.
I don't have a
See,
pair of
here's
those,
the
but
thing.
I
Right,
like them.
I was going to buy a pair just the other weekend. And then I remember, like, Mia's so far past this trend that she's now rejected it. And I'm like, maybe I'll buy myself some Adidas Spiegels, I think they're called.
Special and
Those were
special.
whatever they're called,
Speciales. You should. No, you absolutely should. It's
we
not that they're
shouldn't,
over.
because you've moved on.
No, I haven't moved on.
Well, what is on your foot?
I've decided to try and wear flats. Actually, today I'm wearing a kitten heel. It's just that I was trying to challenge myself because I get bored visually of myself. I was bored of sequins and I was bored of sneakers with every single outfit every day to work. So I thought, I don't even know what else to wear if I don't wear sneakers. Over the last sort of few months, I've started collecting and bringing back out of my wardrobe flat shoes and little kitten heels, even the occasional high heel.
What's a flat shoe? Like a sandal?
I've got some of those mesh ballet flats.
Yeah, we couldn't pull that off.
No,
I'm sorry.
they're new and I've seen them and I've gone,
Maybe in a year.
Yeah, when that trend's over, you guys might dip your toe
We'll
into it.
be on it then.
And just, kitten heels at back, which I've never really liked, but I'm wearing them today with a pair of wide-legged jeans. I like a challenge. My brain likes a puzzle to solve or a new problem, and giving myself that challenge has been quite exciting and stimulating.
Holly, what was your worst this week?
Okay, so my worst is that I think I ruined somebody's surprise birthday party. I know. So someone that we all work with,
Yeah.
my friend Rennie, she turned 30 last week, very young. We work with a lot of young people, as
Has
we
the
know.
party already happened?
Yes, I'm not spoiling it now. This is a retro.
Thought you might be doubling down and just going,
Maybe
"Oh,
I should change names to protect the innocent. Our friend Zenny. It was her 30th birthday. Anyway, obviously I wasn't invited to that because why would I be? That'd be creepy, old lady at 30. But I was in work on Friday and I was talking to some of my colleagues and our, kitchen talk. What are you doing this weekend? And a few of my colleagues said, going to Zenny's birthday party. It's a surprise. And I said, that's great. Randomly, the next day, I was in Sydney for the weekend with my friend. We were walking, doing the iconic cliff walk between Coogee and Bondi, and I bump into Zenny. And all information must have flown out of my head because the first thing I said to her is like, oh my God, it's your birthday party tonight.
Uh-oh. That's bad.
What's her facial expression when you say that?
And she's with her fiance
Who organised
Who's going
parties.
to take you out? He's just going to take you
He's
out
going
on the
to
cliffs.
literally just toss me
Yeah.
over the fence. And she looked, because she's the world's loveliest person, she like composed her face in a way that
As
was
not to
like,
embarrass you.
as if to be, she's like, yes, Bob, he's not called Bob, protecting the innocent. Bob has done all the organising. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, no. So she had to tell you, don't spoil my surprise party, even though you just did.
And that was mortifying in every way. And I'm blaming brain fog. Like I just, word association. I saw Zenny on the cliff and I was like, what I know about you at the moment is birthday party tonight.
Welcome to my brain.
God.
I messaged her the next day. Well, actually, she
Say,
messaged me because
"Surprise!"
she's the loveliest person in the world. She messaged me to say, oh, my God, I had 4 pimple patches on my face when we bumped into each other. I said, oh, my God, I ruined your birthday party.
Yeah.
And she was lovely enough to say, no, you didn't.
Oh, yes, you did. What's your best?
Anyway, my best is that last Friday, my oldest, bestest friend, Lindsay, flew in from England, from London. She lives there. I used to live there. She still lives there. We've been mates since we were 11. We met at school and we bonded over the fact that we were both not allowed to go to the same party. And so our mothers engineered a sleepover and said, neither of you are going to so-and-so's party. That sounds like trouble. Why don't you go and sleep at her house? So I went and had a sleepover with Lindsay and we've been best friends ever since. And we have not lived in the same country since I was 23, so a very long time ago. And she was one of the people who saw me off at the airport when I left. We have remained very good friends ever since, even though we don't see each other very often. Anyway, we just spent 4 days solidly hanging out together. We're about to spend a few more days hanging out together. And just the wonderfulness of being around someone who knows you so well.
Is it awkward for the first few hours to just get back into your rhythm?
It's never awkward with us. My mum laughs at me because when I did go home the year before last, Lindsay came on holiday with us because, you know, family. Yeah. And she's just like, you two are just always in a conversation and it never stops. And so we just talk all the time. What's also lovely is that Matilda, my daughter, who doesn't know Lindsay that well, but obviously knows all about Lindsay, we're like modelling this friendship to her. And Matilda always says to me, I love that you guys are still friends, because she's obviously got friends who she feels very passionate about now. And the idea that she might have them her whole life makes her feel really excited. So it is just so lovely, and it's been my best. It's just hanging out with someone who knows me so well, and I know her so well, and Matilda pumps her for questions about how naughty we were when we were teenagers, and I kick her under the table and say, shush now. Let's not tell that story. My daughter's 14.
My worst was that on Friday I was in Melbourne for the project. I was meant to come back on 9 o'clock flight. Got to 9 o'clock, about to board, boom, cancelled, which is the worst thing to happen when you're in the airport. And the thing that hurt, well, there are a few things. It was the first night I was going to spend away from Luna in 8 months, and just that it was not a choice. It was,
and you weren't prepared for it.
And I wasn't prepared for it.
Didn't even have undies.
Did you cry?
I didn't have undies. I didn't. I kind of had in the back of my head that this was a possibility, but it just broke my heart. And the other thing was that all these flights were cancelled because of storms, and these flights were full of Swifties trying to get to Sydney for the show, and watching their faces, because the way that it had worked, the airline I was on was pretty good, but there were people who had their flight cancelled on Friday and then were issued a ticket for Sunday afternoon, and they had tickets to Taylor Swift on Saturday night. And there were just children crying and there were mums crying. Oh, my God, it was just awful.
So out loud, as if you were one of those people, we need to know that you got to Sydney in time for the concert. Because
there were people that were going to drive. It was just
So what was it like spending your first night away from Luna?
Oh, it was horrible because I didn't even get a good sleep.
Yeah.
Because I got about 3 hours sleep. By the time I got back to the hotel, I had to be back at the airport. Yeah, look, she was really bad for Luca and stayed up all night, so that I didn't mind. My best is that, I don't know if I've told you guys, that I had this ganglion. I had this thing that's been growing on my wrist for years.
Why?
My mum has one too. It's like, I think it's because I'm Miley Cyrus / Jen Aniston. It's all my Pilates.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all my pressure on my wrist.
So it's like a little lump that comes up. Are they painful?
It was hurting every time I would do something like a plank or a push-up. It was getting really irritating and can interfere with lots of exercise. And I was like, other than surgery, there's basically nothing you can do. Anyway, then like a few months ago or whatever, remember I tripped? I was holding Luna and I slipped on the curb and I landed on my ganglion wrist, right? And it really hurt, and I thought, oh, have I sprained it or something? Destroyed my ganglion.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's gone.
It's like it broke it.
It broke my ganglion.
And it disappeared back from where it came.
Yeah, I've been exercising and stuff, and I'm like, why is my wrist okay again? And I'm like, I broke my ganglion when I sprained my wrist. So isn't that
dissolved.
It dissolved into my bloodstream, just like people used to do it with a big book, like to destroy it. Yeah. Because you've just got to break it all up.
Do not try this at home out
No.
loud.
Apparently it can also break your wrist.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm in a real good mood about that.
I've got a recommendation that's a beautiful film. If you love Schitt's Creek, Dan Levy, who plays David on Schitt's Creek, has written and starred
I've heard about this.
I don't know if he's also directed it, a movie called Good Grief. It's on Netflix. It is not quite autobiographical. He says that he wanted to do something after Schitt's Creek that was more personal, and he lost his grandmother towards the end of COVID. And so he started writing this movie. It's like a rom-com, really. It's about a man and his friends and the different ways that they all deal with him losing his husband. That's not a spoiler. It happens early on in the film, and it's kind of the whole point of the film.
Do I look older to you? I feel like I've aged a lot.
No. Yes, your husband just died. You're allowed. My God.
I wanted to thank you both for this year. I would like to take us to Paris for the weekend. We all deserve some joy.
Yes, thank you. Where are we staying?
You must miss him.
It's complicated.
Yeah, love is that way.
I've heard interviews with him talking about how his grandmother died and how he didn't really process it because it was at the time of Schitt's Creek doing really well and there was a lot going on, and he sort of just stored it away and didn't process it. And then he said the week before they were due to start shooting, his dog died. And this is his dog. He said, I don't have a life partner. It's been my dog for like 12, 13 years. For like every day has been my dog and taken to work, and every day I've spent and every night. And it's like, who am I without this dog? And so he said the two things together really impacted his experience of grief, and he wanted to write that. It sounds like it's a really heavy movie, but it's actually not. I mean, Dan Levy is so funny. He brings an incredible lightness. His character is very David-esque. It's more grounded, but it's a beautiful film.
And where do you watch it?
Netflix.
Sounds gorgeous. If you're looking for something else to listen to, on yesterday's episode, we talked about the lure of divorce and why so many people think that they might be better off without their partner. It's based on this amazing viral essay about a woman who thought she was going to divorce her husband, thought she was going to,
tried to.
and works it out. Here's a little grab of us discussing it.
When it comes to an identity crisis and going, I am currently a person I don't want to be, how do I transition from old life to new life? There is something about divorce that can feel very like a transition.
Sometimes that's the right thing and sometimes it's not. You know, like sometimes it's one of the things that will make your life simpler, better, cleaner, not to be taking care of so many people, and it's worth celebrating that. But the reality is it's incredibly difficult, particularly if you've got children, particularly if you live in a capital city, particularly if you're not in a particularly high-paid job. It's incredibly difficult.
There's a link in our show notes if you want to listen to that right now.
Thank you for listening to Australia's #1 news and pop culture show. This episode was produced by Emeline Gazilas. The assistant producer is Tahli Blackman. And we've had audio production from Leah Porges. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Shout out to any Mamamia subscribers listening. If you love the show and you want to support us, subscribing to Mamamia is the very best way to do it. There's a link in the episode description.